I'm Joe Dante. This is Trailers from Hell. All of us would like to have our names in the title of a movie, but very few of us get it. Bela Lugosi didn't get a lot of things in his career, but one thing he did get was his name in the title of a movie. Unfortunately, the movie was this one. The title is Bela Lugosi Meets a Brooklyn Gorilla, and it was one of his later pictures, not one of his best, but it was very popular long after its theatrical run. Now, to understand this movie, you have to appreciate how incredibly popular Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis were in the early 50s. Although none of their movies captured the anarchic appeal of their Anything Can Happen nightclub and TV appearances, they were really the heirs to the Marx Brothers brand of anti-establishment craziness. And kids, including me, loved them. So imagine my excitement at discovering on my local New York TV channel what seemed to be a brand new Martin and Lewis movie I'd never heard of. This one under the title Boys from Brooklyn. Only it wasn't really Dean and Jerry, but two guys who looked and acted like them. Duke Mitchell and Sammy Petrillo. Mitchell was a nightclub singer who looked kind of like Dino only when he was standing next to Petrillo, a 17-year-old kid who was a dead ringer for 50s period Jerry, and whose whole career as a Jerry Lewis impersonator got started when Jerry hired him to play Baby Jerry on the Colgate Comedy Hour. Lewis lived to regret that decision when Petrillo teamed with Mitchell to play clubs and make this movie. Lawsuits flew, but nothing really came of them, as Petrillo was really a one-trick pony whose act was somebody else's, and this was the team's only movie. Lugosi, near the end of his career, looks haggard, but not as emaciated as he would in his next picture, Ed Wood's Glen or Glenda. Here he's revisiting his ape man experiments, trying to turn people into gorillas. With Petrillo, he's already halfway there.
Ramona, the romantic chimp, takes off on a romantic chase of her own.
Strange, but interesting.
Really think so? What a charming compliment.
Any picture that bills a chimp in the cast is likely to also feature a guy in an ape suit, and as John Landis has often pointed out on this very site, any movie with a guy in an ape suit is a great movie indeed. For those who don't subscribe to that philosophy, although I can't imagine any Trailers from Hell viewers who wouldn't, it's not so good. Shot in 7 days for $50,000, it's never funny, but it's really no worse than similar Bowery Boys pictures, many of which were also directed by the incredibly prolific William One-Shot Bodine, who producer Herman Cohen once claimed was hired because he was, quote, not too bright and intelligent, but whose filmography stacks up a lot more impressively than Mr. Cohen's. Anyway, despite the fact that Lugosi was often confused when the comedians started throwing around ad-libs, he manages to retain his dignity even in these diminished surroundings. But the worst was yet to come.